Do, 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 do,
Do, do, do.
do, do.
That was fun.
I feel like I don't actually know the song. You're
That makes two of us.
okay.
Uh,
It's all good.
all is good.
I had another really fun day today.
Did you?
I did.
It looked like you guys were having so much fun.
Yes, I had. We were doing brother new owners embroidery today, after bringing in new owners yesterday, and as far as like double stacking classes in 1 week, this was the perfect pair because I was totally prepped from yesterday to do today, and it was just
Yeah.
a switch gears of which brand we're working with.
That's awesome.
So
Sounds
we
flawless.
could book it in this order again, and I
We
think we
may
did.
have already booked
we
some
may
of them
have.
singly and floaty.
Yeah, depending what else is going on. So hi, welcome to my sewing room on a Friday afternoon. If you're here in Calgary, you're probably getting the dark clouds to the west.
No, dark clouds?
Yeah, but that means I get to go home and embroider instead of watering my garden,
This is true.
which sounds like the perfect Friday night to me.
Are you saying the gardens are going to water themselves this weekend?
I think so.
That's excellent news.
That's what I'm hoping for. Because I could water my garden myself, but I could let nature do it for me.
It's a great idea.
That's my preference.
I like it.
Yeah. So we're wrapping up week 3 of our super summer savings.
Yep.
You guys have all day tomorrow to come in store, and you have till Sunday night to shop online at mysewingroom.ca, and our patterns are 30% off this week, which is lots of fun. So clothing patterns, bag patterns, quilt patterns, all sorts of great stuff there.
All the patterns.
But next week, if you have been busy making quilts, oh, it's 35 with no rain at her house. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
That sounds like no fun. If you've been making quilt tops and not getting them finished, next week is the week you'll want to get your quilts into us.
Yep.
Because our long arming, if you bring your quilts in next week, so from July 24th to July 30th, drop your quilts off, you'll get 20% off your long arming services. And in our long arm department, we offer edge-to-edge quilting, which is nice, basic, all over computerized designs. We also do custom quilting. And Barb, our long armor, is great at helping figure out what will make your quilt sing, because the quilting can just enhance your quilt so much.
And technically, we actually only have until July 29th because we're closed on Sunday.
We're closed on Sunday. Correct.
I just wanted to fact check myself before I said it.
Totally fair. So when you're thinking about bringing a quilt in for long arming, there's some things you should do to prep ahead. Having your quilt all nicely pressed before you bring it in is always helpful. It'll go up on the long arm easier.
Yep.
And if you already have backing picked for your quilt, having your backing already assembled is super helpful as well. And on our long arm, we need extra space on your backing fabric to load your quilts. So as much as it's very tempting to buy just enough fabric to make exactly the same size backing as your top, we won't be able to load your quilt.
Yes, the rollers need some space. Otherwise, we can't stitch the top edge and the bottom edge of your quilt.
Yeah, and if you're bringing it to us to get stitched, you probably want the whole thing stitched.
Probably.
Is my guess.
You don't want us to skip the spot.
Yeah. So generally, we like to have 6 extra inches top and bottom, and we do like to have extra about 6 inches on the sides as well.
Yep.
So that there's room. Sometimes quilts shift left and right a little bit as they get quilted, because the quilting will shift them a little bit.
Or they're not perfectly square sometimes. Because I don't know about you, but I don't square my quilt before I bring it in for long arming.
No.
I just bring it
Me too.
like chaos, put it down,
Say here, Barb.
and we go.
Help. And then like the other nice thing about getting your quilts long armed is we can scale the design. So if you like really loose quilting, we can make your quilting really loose. If you're like me and you like crunchy stiff quilts, I like as much thread as possible on my
She
quilts.
likes
I have a
texture.
problem. I really like the texture of quilting. It's true.
It is nice.
So we can scale those designs. So if you've got wee little blocks, you can scale those down.
Yep.
And make the quilting fit. And then the price changes a little bit depending on the density. But having your quilting services on sale, maybe you can jump up to that custom quilting price that maybe you weren't planning to.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
That's what I was thinking.
Like you could do block by block.
Right? Because sometimes edge to edge is great, but sometimes you want to focus your quilting.
Yeah, that's a great
Or
plan.
we could do your border separate from the inner part of your quilt. So we could do edge to edge through the middle part and then your border separate.
Oh, you so could, because then if you wanted a consistent border print that is going directional,
We can rotate your quilt
we could rotate your quilt.
and then do the border so we can stitch a whole border all at once.
That's why we like the 6 extra inches on the sides too.
It's true. We've got more options. If you guys are coming in to get your quilts quilted and you don't have your backings, you can get your quilts dropped off. We could assemble your backings for you if you buy the fabric here.
Yep.
And there would be a small add-on fee for that. But then you don't have to panic. You can come in that day, pick from our wide back fabrics, pick from our regular quilting cottons, pick flannel, minky,
Yep.
cuddle, all of the above.
Depending on the size of your quilt, your backing might not need to be assembled.
It's true.
If it's small and fits on a wide back.
Well, the wide backs you could fit like a queen size on without
Yeah.
piecing. It's
Because
great.
they're roughly 102 inches
108.
to 108.
Yeah.
Flexi room.
Yeah.
You could totally fit a queen on there.
Yeah, and
Easy
some
peasy.
of our cuddle and some of our minky is 90 inches wide.
It's
So you can get a big piece of that and not have to put a seam in it, which is lovely. So you can come pick your backing for your quilts, drop your quilt off. We can supply batting when you leave us your quilt, and we'll just cut that off the roll and add it to your sale. So batting will be at regular price next week, and your fabric will be at regular price, but the quilting services themselves will be discounted.
Woo!
So great way to get things off your plate that have been in the almost done but not finished pile.
So you mean from summer quilt to winter quilt?
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. And then if you fall into the category of your quilts need to be bound, but you hate binding, there are people out there that don't like binding their own quilts. We have a binding service.
I might be in that category. I do it, and it doesn't bring me as much joy as the piecing.
That's fair. But yeah, we have our binding service as well, and that'll be charged by the inch.
Linear inch.
Linear inch, yeah, not square inches like your quilt top. You got to do some math to do longer quilting.
The nice thing is you just have to plug the numbers into the right spot on the spreadsheet in the store.
Yeah.
And then it's pretty easy from there.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and we've got lots and lots and lots of designs available. So
So
it's
many
super cool. If you are not interested in having somebody else long arm your quilts, there's other options. We do have a long arm renter certification class next week.
Yep.
So if you want to learn to run the long arm yourself and come and rent, that class is happening. I believe it's Thursday.
Yes, it is. It's on Thursday.
So you can pay to take the class, learn how to load a quilt, learn how to set up to run edge to edge pantographs, and then you could book rental time later on to finish your own quilts. I'm a control freak. I have only let a long armer quilt one of my quilts for me.
I have quilted all my quilts myself
Yes.
so far.
My periodic table, I knew what I wanted, and I did not have the time or the patience to do it.
That's fair. That periodic table quilt is...
It's
pretty nifty.
but mine is massive.
Yes.
It's like king size, and I wanted all the sashing quilted with circles. Oh no, we did ditch work on mine. We did circles on the one in the store. We ditched all like 160 blocks. And I didn't feel like doing it myself. So,
No.
so that was a time where I was willing to pay by checkbook.
That's
But it fell
fair.
into custom quilting. It was not a very fast process, but it came out like I wanted. So, and if I'd had 3 extra days in my life, I would have come to do it myself, but I did not have 3 extra days in my
No.
life. And I know that one, both Barb and Doris worked on it. It was on the frame for a while. It was a pokey project.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, but it's done. It's on my bed. I love it. So yeah, long arm quilting is one option. Rental program is the other if you want. And then if you fall into the camp, kind of like me, where you really do want to finish your own quilts at home, we have some classes coming up in August that would be fabulous for you to attend to get some more tools under your belt. And that would be our special event with Deborah Louie.
Yep.
So Deborah Louie is an Australian educator, and she teaches quilting and decorative stitching. And we've got 3 classes.
Gorgeous.
So August 8th, we've got a walking foot quilting class.
Yep.
And there's so much more you can do with a walking foot beyond just straight lines. So she'll talk about some of those things.
I can't wait to hear more.
Right?
Because all I've ever done is straight lines with my walking foot, and I would love to do more because sometimes I want to quilt at home.
Are you being the classroom assistant for that class? Or am I? Or are we arm wrestling?
Rock, paper, scissors. Let's make it fair.
Dang. You knew I was going to pick rock.
You can hang out with the virtual students.
It's true.
I'll take
Okay.
in-store, you take virtual.
Okay. Sounds good. Perfect.
Deal. We'll both get in.
So walking foot quilting on the 8th. It doesn't matter what brand of machine you have. You just need a walking foot for it. And if you're not sure if there's a walking foot available for your machine, we can probably help you find one that fits. If your machine's not new or a brand new carry, we might have one that'll fit.
You might.
We
And all brands are welcome to join us that day.
Totally. The 9th, we're doing a free motion class,
Mm.
and it's focusing. Our Deborah Louie is doing a free motion class. We're just here to,
We're here
Hang out.
to hang out.
yeah. And it's going to focus on some of the weirder places to free motion, because lots of classes talk about the big square spaces, like your blocks and your bigger pieces.
Yeah.
But it's called Between the Lines, quilting between the lines, and we're going to focus on things that are skinny and weird, like sashing. And this is where sashing and skinny borders, because those are lots of places where people aren't really always sure how to fill that space.
I'm totally not sure. I just quit quilting the ditch around them and pretend they're not a thing.
Yeah, but sometimes you want them to have their own texture
I would so love for them to have their own texture and
Yeah.
know what to do and have options.
and have options. And like, I've flipped through the book for that class.
Oh, did you?
Not very much, just a little bit.
Ooh, I might need to flip through the book.
But there's some really cool ideas that you could scale to a really skinny little border. So looking back through that book now and knowing that I just did ditch work on my periodic table, there's maybe something that would have made me happier. I'm a really, what I would have done if I had even more time is I would have done tiny little like piano keys. But
Oh
my
gosh.
sashing was only like 3/4 of an inch wide. So that seemed like cruel and unusual punishment.
That would have been fantastic.
Because it is such a
though.
heavy quilt.
You could have totally done it on your Bernina.
I could have.
It would take forever.
It would take forever.
But you could do it.
But I could do it.
I feel like it would be very rewarding when you were done.
Yes. And it's something where maybe I could have built it in sections, but I also had like a print on the back that I pattern matched.
Ooh.
So it's not something I could easily piece together and quilt in sections. Way to take a complicated project and make it more so. That is
totally
my,
Leah.
totally me.
If you didn't do stuff like that, you wouldn't be you.
It's true. And that's why we're all different. It's art.
100%.
Do what you want. And then the third class on the 10th is decorative stitches and doing a gorgeous decorative stitch mandala, which is going to be super cool. You flip through the book on that one, I think.
Yes.
That's super cool.
It might be the class I'm excited for all 3 classes
Mhm.
because I think they're going to expand my knowledge on lots of things. Like
Mhm.
I use a brother, but I still can't wait to learn all the techniques and translate them over to my machine.
Yeah.
Because it'll be very straightforward to translate that. But I cannot wait to use more of my decorative stitches because I don't use them enough.
I know. And
I
they're there.
barely use them.
And they're waiting for an art project.
They're there saying, pick me, and I'm not picking them because I don't know how
Or when.
or when.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to know.
Yeah. Sweet. So yeah, those 3 classes, there's still space. We are getting closer to the deadline. There's not a hard deadline, but there is a little bit of prep work for the one class ahead. So you will
Yep.
need your kit ahead of time.
A little bit of homework.
A little bit of homework to just build out the sample ahead. But there's still space in all 3 of those classes. And if you're comfortable with your machine and you're not nearby, you'll be able to join us virtually. If you're brand new to your machine, I'd highly recommend you come in so we can help troubleshoot and help you out in store. But I know there's lots of our customers that do these types of things that are not nearby and don't really want to lift their machine out of the house. So we do have the virtual option available.
We sure do.
Yeah, so that's either, come in, bring us your quilts next week, do the rental thing on the Longarm, or learn more on your home machine. And all three are totally valid ways to get your quilts quilted.
And totally awesome.
Yes. Totally awesome.
I can't wait for all of them. I actually picked up a new project today, Leah.
I picked one up last week. It's kind of how it's going.
Technically, I'm picking up 2 today, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Log cabin.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be a really cool Facebook video soon.
Yes.
Once I get my sewing room at home organized.
Yeah, you just moved. It's kind of a problem.
And that other one, the embroidery one.
Yes. We'll talk more about that when it hits the calendar.
Oh, yeah.
Week. But
surprise.
A whole bunch of new classes went up on the calendar for the fall today. There's many more on the list that are not quite ready to post out online. And there's more new owners classes. So if you've got a new brother, Bernina, or Burnett machine in the recent past and you haven't been in for a new owners class, highly recommend you do so. I might be a little bit biased, but new owners classes are like my favorite class. I really like project classes, but new owners classes, I find there's so much so much opportunity to let people even see what's possible with the machine they have.
Yes. And in project classes, you don't always get to see the endless possibilities.
Yeah, you see the project you're working on.
Yeah, and all the endless possibilities for that project.
Yeah.
But not the endless possibilities for your machine.
Yeah.
Your new best friend.
Yeah, I had one lady this week who wasn't sure about embroidery. So she paid to take the new owners class.
Yep.
And at the end of the day decided that, yes, that was pretty fun. I do want the module for my machine. So because the new owners classes are free when you buy your machine with us, we were able to reimburse her the class fee that she'd already paid at the end of the day when she picked up the module. So
very cool.
Yeah. And we've got, if you're running a slightly older Bernina 7 series or 8 and you don't have a module, I do have some used modules at like smoking good prices.
Smoking good prices.
So you could come try embroidery and then take your module home and get your class fee reimbursed for the new owners class. So you've got options.
So many options.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless, Leah.
They really are. And with those endless possibilities, I want to go home and embroider.
Yeah, I want to go home and play in my sewing room.
Yeah.
I need to.
And it's Friday night. So thank you for joining us today. Have a lovely weekend and